Number 25, CR 43196, the State of Ohio versus Aaron Best. Mr. Best is before the court with his counsel, Mr. Newberger, Ms. Nicholson, on behalf of the State of Ohio. First off, the defendant had filed a motion for intervention in lieu of conviction, and based upon his prior revocation of ILC, the court is going to deny that request. Ms. Nicholson, what are we doing?
Your Honor, I'm just going to fill in with Ms. Nicholson's supervision, if that's okay, while she's getting her other entry done. So,
Okay.
But, Your Honor, it's my understanding the defendant's going to withdraw his prior plea of not guilty to count 2, which is the felony for grand theft auto. We'll dismiss count 1.
All right. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Best, you're telling me you're going to change your plea to guilty to count 2. Before we get to your change of plea, I'm required to go over some things with you. Okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
36.
How far did you go in school?
I got 4 years of college.
So you can read and write.
Absolutely.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you how the court would sentence you in this case?
No. Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, if this case had proceeded to trial, the state would have shown beyond a reasonable doubt with respect to count 2 that back on October 27th of 2025, while this defendant, Aaron Best, was in Warren County, Ohio, he did with purpose to deprive the owner of property. In this case, it was the victim's motor vehicle. He did obtain and exerted control over the motor vehicle beyond the scope of the express consent of the person who was authorized to give consent. In this case, the victim was in the hospital, unable to give consent, but his girlfriend had allowed the defendant to borrow the motor vehicle. However, the defendant then wound up selling it without consent of either the girlfriend or the victim in this particular case, thereby permanently depriving the victim of his motor vehicle.
All right. Mr. Newberger, anything on those facts?
No.
Mr. Best, did you hear the statement that she read?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you admit and acknowledge that what she said is true?
Yes, Your Honor.
And again, you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering a plea of guilty, those rights we discussed?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is your plea?
Guilty.
The court will make a finding that you've made a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver of your constitutional rights we've discussed. The court will accept your plea of guilty, and based upon the statement of facts and your plea, the court will make a finding of guilty. Ms. Hyatt, anything on behalf of the state?
Your Honor, I was just confirming, it does not appear that the victim has requested restitution in this case, so we are not going to be requesting that. There is 52 days of jail time credit. Other than that, we would concur with whatever Officer Ruff was recommending.
Officer Ruff, anything else?
Your Honor, the recommendation was just community control and then to follow through and complete recovery court.
All right, Mr. Newberger, anything?
Just one thing. He's still on the GPS. I know that it's custom of the court to keep him on it, but he is also under house arrest. He asked me if he could get curfew so that he could actually go to the grocery store, stuff like that. Employment.
When they had granted, I know they said it's just kind of difficult to make changes to that once I'm sentenced until, they just said to just ask at my hearing per Officer Smalls. So, I'm not like.
He understands.
Anything else you want to tell me, Mr. Best?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sorry, I know that, I'm thankful for recovery court and the probation department that I've already started Emerge, and I think for once it's going to do me some good. And like I said, the monitoring system, I'm not trying to wiggle away from that around it. I'm totally fine with keeping it. I would assume I will keep it for some more time, but I do know that Emerge, we do just like different things. Sometimes we'll go different places. We'll go to meetings. Sometimes they do some work in they call it a work institute. And I was just trying to get a little leniency with being able to be more productive in my recovery and with my home life.
Has there been a motion filed for recovery court?
Per his report and what I had talked to the other officers for, he had been preliminary accepted. I don't know if there was a formal motion
All right.
for it. But they do have recovery court this week, so they would be
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, Mr. Best?
Yeah, so to go along with that, for that motion, she doesn't know either, but I do know that I was reached out to by Emerge, and they told me that the recovery court director and the recovery court entity was requesting that I go to Emerge to get my assessment, and from my understanding, they're the reason I started treatment through Emerge, because I had no hand in any of that in the beginning. So somebody has done something for me.
All right, the court's considered the statements made here today, the purposes and principles of sentencing, the relevant seriousness and recidivism factors. The court does find that you are amenable to community control. So I'm going to place you in community control for a period of 3 years, subject to the supervision of the Warren County Probation Department. You're ordered to refrain from the use of any drugs, alcohol, or marijuana. You have a marijuana, what's it called?
Card.
The diagnosis?
Yeah, I've got it here. Stimulant use disorder severe and cannabis use order severe. So you're not permitted to use marijuana anymore. It's adding to your problems. So the court is ordering you to complete the Judge Peeler's recovery court. It does look like that motion and entry have been filed. There is recovery court on Wednesday of this week. I will leave it to the discretion of Judge Peeler as to what to do with the monitor. So you have today, tomorrow, and then Wednesday you're back here in court. What time is that? Do we know? Is it 1 o'clock?
Need you to be here at 2. I'll talk.
Okay, she'll talk to you after court. You're also subject to discretionary period of post-release control. If you're sent to prison, upon your release, the Adult Parole Authority may supervise you for up to 2 years. If you violate that supervision, you can be returned to prison for up to 1/2 of this court's original sentence. You have 52 days jail time credit. The court finds you these indigent for the purpose of any fines, costs, or other financial.
12 seconds later.
Problem I have, Mr. Best, is this is not your first violation. This is your third violation.
Yes, sir.
And this many years, you were sentenced, and you should have been done with your treatment. You are still continuing to use methamphetamines, amphetamines, and now MDMA. I don't know how I can justify continuing to give you chance after chance when you're just, it doesn't seem like you're getting it.
I just want more.
No, the one more was the last time. I mean, I gave you, this is the third violation. So the court's going to find today that you are no longer amenable to community control and that prison is necessary to fulfill the purposes and the principles of sentencing, including punishment, deterrence, and protection of the public. So I am going to order you to serve 18 months in prison. You have 346 days jail time credit. You are subject to a discretionary period of post-release control. When you are released, the Adult Parole Authority may choose to supervise you for up to 2 years. If you violate that supervision, the Adult Parole Authority can return you to prison for up to 1/2 of this court's original sentence. If your violation is that you commit another felony, you can be returned to prison for 1 year, or the period that you have left on PRC, whichever is longer, that time would run consecutive to any additional prison time that you get sentenced to. The court had previously found you to be indigent for the purpose of any fines, costs, or other financial sanctions. Mr. Staten.
I know, Your Honor.
All right, good luck.